Welcome to another turn of Fraz in the kitchen. This time we're not just in any kitchen, but we're outside because we're going to be using the barbecue, aren't we, Haggis? So, to start with, before we go outside, we're going to be in the kitchen because we need to make some stock to make some sauce. And like all good sauces, you can't just make a sauce instantly unless you're going to buy them out of a packet. So we make our own sauce. I'll make a red wine reduction, a really thick, juicy red wine reduction that'll go so well with that lovely piece of duck that we're going to cook shortly. You'll notice I've also got some potatoes on in the pan. At least I've got the boiling water on. Better put the potatoes in. These are just new potatoes. They're not really new potatoes this time of year, but they're newish. And from the supermarket. Not as good as the ones that I've got growing in the garden, but they'll be away for another couple of months before they come ready. So potatoes are on there just boiling. I'm going to make the red wine reduction stock. Now I've got some wine here. I always say don't cook with wine you wouldn't drink yourself, so I'm going to test it. It's not half bad. It's not exactly what I would buy. Somebody brought us this. It's a wine from Spain, and it's vegan. How wine and why wine should be vegan is beyond me, but it is. So we'll put a good cupful. Is that a good glassful? Probably not a big glass by mine and Wendy's standards, but it's a glassful. So we're going to put that on and reduce it down. And with that, I'm going to put some soy sauce in it to add a bit of salt content. And I'm probably going to add a bit of salt as well. Just a pinch. And as with all red wine sauces, all wine sauces for that matter, we're going to counter that the sharpness of the sauce and the salt with some sugar. So good couple of teaspoonfuls there of ordinary sugar. And I've got here some veal stock. You can see on here, here's my veal stock. It comes in a powder. Well, that one's gone a little bit solid, so I've broken it down into a runny paste. That's going to go in there into the red wine. Maybe a little bit of black pepper just to tart it back up a bit. That's now going to sit there and cook for about 20 minutes, half an hour maybe. So with our piece of duck's a dangerous thing to cook because on a barbecue, that's why I normally cut the skin off it, because once it goes under the naked flame, it will catch fire and you need a fire extinguisher near you, and possibly in the middle of summer, maybe a fire brigade on call as well. We're going with a piece of duck here. So what I'm going to do, so my barbecue has got two halves to it. I'm going to go with the half on the griddle and I'm going to put it fat side down on the griddle. So what it'll do now is cook that fat slowly, render that fat down, and the fat will run off into a tray underneath, and then we'll cook it on the barbecue after that. To keep the heat in, I'll shut the lid on the barbecue, and that wants a good 5, maybe 10 minutes. Cooking duck is a very quick thing, really. It's a 20-minute dinner if you've got your duck thawed out. All we need is the time it takes for the sauce and the potatoes to cook, so half an hour at the most. So I'm going to put that on there now, shut the lid, let that have 5 minutes, and just render that fat down a little bit. As you can see, the duck's cooking nicely on the griddle. There's quite a bit of fat coming out of it. As you can see, it's nice and charred on the top there. Leave it a little bit longer. It's had about 4 or 5 minutes. And then we'll drop it onto the barbecue itself. Now the duck is done enough on the skin side. I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to drop it onto the barbecue. What I'm going to do is turn down the middle section and turn up the outside section, so it's not sitting right on top of the naked flame, because that's when we get fire. And I brought my potatoes out, which are just about cooked through. I've thrown in the little bit of duck fat that I chopped off there as well, and then those are going to go onto the griddle. And we're going to sear those in the duck fat. I'll put a little bit of salt on them. That's pretty much all they need. There'll be a bit of salt, of course, came off the duck fat itself. Let's hope we don't get a fire. Meanwhile, the sauce is cooking away nicely inside. It's had about 10 minutes now, 15 maybe, and it's reducing down nicely. The beauty of duck, because ducks are very rich, you don't need lots of vegetables and everything else. I think with some sauce and some nice potatoes, that's pretty much a full dish for a main course. Now I've plated our duck with some sauce on the top there. Look at that, doesn't that look gorgeous? Some beautiful duck fat, fried potatoes, and a fantastic piece of magret duck there. That's food fit for a king, or a queen in my case, because my wife is going to be here enjoying this with me. Duck à la Fraz. Cheers.